Trying to choose between engineering specializations? I get it. The NCEES offers over 20 PE specialization exams, and choosing the wrong one can throw off your entire career. Because yes, engineering is bridges and buildings, but it's also computers, power systems, farms, ships, factories, chemicals, mines, nuclear plants, fire safety systems, medical devices, materials, and so much more. So today I'm going to walk you through several major engineering specializations, what they are, what kind of careers they lead to, and what the salary picture generally looks like. Quick note before we start, salaries vary a lot based on location, industry, experience, licensure, and whether you move into leadership. But according to data from the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, engineering median pay is generally strong, with many engineering occupations around or above the six-figure mark. In 2024, the BLS reported engineering median wages ranging from about $85,000 for agricultural engineers to $155,000 for computer hardware engineers. Let's start with agricultural and biological engineering. This field applies engineering to agriculture, food systems, natural resources, and biological processes. Agriculture engineers might work on irrigation, farm equipment, renewable energy, food processing, environmental controls, or sustainable farming systems. The BLS lists agricultural engineers at a lower median wage than many engineering fields, around $85,000, but it can be a great path if you care about food, sustainability, and real-world problem solving. Next is architectural engineering. Architectural engineers focus on the systems inside buildings. Structural systems, HVAC, lighting, electrical systems, acoustics, energy efficiency, and safety. They're not the same as architects. Architects design the building experience. Architectural engineers help make the building work. Careers can include building systems engineer, facade engineer, building performance consultant, or MEP engineer. Salary often falls somewhere around $80,000 to $120,000 plus, depending on experience, location, licensure, and whether the role leans more civil, mechanical, electrical, or construction focused. Then there's chemical engineering. Chemical engineers apply chemistry, physics, math, and engineering to processes that produce things like fuels, pharmaceuticals, plastics, food products, chemicals, and consumer goods. They may work in process design, manufacturing, energy, biotech, or environmental compliance. This is one of the higher paying traditional engineering paths, with BLS reporting chemical engineers at a median of about $121,860 in 2024. Civil engineering is one of the broadest and most recognizable engineering fields. Civil engineers work on infrastructure, so roads, bridges, water systems, transportation, land development, airports, utilities, and public works. Careers can include transportation engineer, water resources engineer, geotechnical engineer, construction engineer, or municipal engineer. Civil engineering is also one of the fields where PE licensure can be especially important. BLS listed civil engineers at a 2024 median wage of about $99,590. Now let's talk about control systems engineering. Control systems engineers work on automation, instrumentation, feedback systems, and process control. Think manufacturing plants, power facilities, robotics, oil and gas systems, chemical plants, and industrial automation. These engineers help systems run safely, efficiently, and predictably. Salary levels can be strong here, often around $90,000 to $130,000 plus, especially if you're working in energy, manufacturing, utilities, robotics, or industrial automation. BLS doesn't separate control system engineers into one perfect category, so this range usually overlaps with electrical, mechanical, and industrial engineering roles. Electrical and computer engineering is another huge category. Electrical engineers work with power, circuits, electronics, communications, signal processing, and electrical systems. Computer engineers focus more on hardware, embedded systems, processors, and computing devices. Career paths include electrical design engineer, power systems engineer, electronics engineer, hardware engineer, firmware engineer, or systems engineer. BLS reports salaries for electrical and electronics engineer at about $118,780, and for computer hardware engineers at about $155,020, making this one of the higher paying fields. Environmental engineering is for people who want to solve problems around water, air, waste, pollution, sustainability, and public health. Environmental engineers may design water treatment systems, work on remediation projects, manage environmental compliance, or help companies reduce environmental impact. Careers can include environmental consultant, water, wastewater engineer, air quality engineer, or sustainability engineer. BLS reported environmental engineers at a median wage of about $104,170 in 2024. Next is fire protection engineering. Fire protection engineers design systems and strategies to prevent fires, detect fires, control smoke, support evacuation, and protect people and property. They may work on building codes, sprinkler systems, fire modeling, life safety analysis, or industrial fire risk. So careers can be in consulting, government, insurance, construction, or high-risk industrial environments. Salary is often around around $80,000 to $130,000 plus, with senior, licensed, or highly specialized fire protection engineers earning more. Industrial and systems engineering is all about making processes work better. Industrial engineers improve systems involving people, machines, materials, data, and money. They work in manufacturing, healthcare, logistics, supply chain, operations, quality, and process improvement. If you like efficiency, optimization, and solving messy business problems, this field is worth a look. BLS reported industrial engineers at about $101,140 and projected faster than average growth from 2024 to 2034. Mechanical engineering is one of the most versatile engineering specializations. Mechanical engineers work with machines, energy, motion, thermal systems, manufacturing, vehicles, robotics, HVAC, aerospace components, and product design. Career titles might include design engineer, mechanical systems engineer, manufacturing engineer, test engineer, or thermal engineer. The BLS lists mechanical engineers at a 2024 median wage of about $102,320 with strong projected growth, 9%, which is over double the average rate of 4%. Metallurgical and materials engineering focuses on the stuff things are made of. Materials engineers work with metals, ceramics, polymers, composites, semiconductors, biomaterials, and advanced materials. They may test materials, develop new materials, investigate failures, or improve manufacturing processes. Careers show up in aerospace, automotive, electronics, defense, biomedical, and energy. BLS reported materials engineers at about $108,310 in 2024. Mining and mineral processing engineering is focused on extracting and processing minerals safely and efficiently. Mining engineers may work on mine design, operations, safety, drilling, blasting, ventilation, mineral processing, or environmental impacts. This can be a strong path for people interested in natural resources, heavy industry, and field-based work. BLS reported mining and geological engineers at about $101,020 in 2024. Naval architecture and marine engineering are about ships, boats, submarines, offshore structures, and marine systems. Naval architects focus more on vessel design and structure, while marine engineers focus more on propulsion, power, mechanical systems, and onboard engineering systems. Careers can be in shipbuilding, defense, offshore energy, transportation, or marine consulting. BLS reported marine engineers and naval architects at about $105,670 in 2024. Nuclear engineering focuses on nuclear energy, radiation, reactors, safety systems, medical applications, and nuclear materials. Nuclear engineers may work in power generation, national labs, defense, medical technology, research, or regulatory environments. It's a specialized field with a strong salary potential. BLS reported nuclear engineers at about $127,520 in 2024. Petroleum engineers focus on oil and gas extraction, drilling, reservoirs, production systems, and energy operations. Careers can include drilling engineer, reservoir engineer, production engineer, or completions engineer. BLS reported petroleum engineers at about $141,280 in 2024, though this field can be tied closely to energy market cycles. And finally, structural engineering. Structural engineering is technically a specialty within civil engineering, but it's important enough to stand on its own. Structural engineers design and analyze buildings, bridges, towers, foundations, and other structures so they can safely carry loads and resist forces like wind, earthquakes, gravity, and vibration. Careers can include structural design engineer, bridge engineer, forensic structural engineer, or building consultant. Salary often overlaps with civil engineering, but typically ranges between $80,000 and $140,000, with an average of roughly $105,000. So, which engineering specialty is best? Ultimately, it really depends on the problems you want to solve. If you like buildings, look at architectural, civil, structural, or fire protection engineering. If you're into machines and products, consider mechanical or materials engineering. Like energy, check out electrical, nuclear, petroleum, or chemical engineering. If you're passionate about systems and efficiency, look at industrial and systems or control systems engineering. Finally, if you care about sustainability and natural resources, compare environmental, agricultural, mining, and marine engineering. The best engineering specialization, it isn't always the one with the highest salary. It's the one that matches your strengths, your interests, your lifestyle, and the kind of impact you want your work to have. For more engineering career tips, FE and PE exam advice, and licensure strategy, don't forget to subscribe. We post every day.